What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Richest Steve in Atlanta. The date is May 6th, 2024, and we are live at 6 a.m. after 2 weeks, y'all. We've been off schedule for 2 weeks. I've been doing a lot of things, so I ain't made it to the 6 a.m. show. But y'all know we've been consistent, so we are on our 12th episode of the Richest Steve in Atlanta live. You feel me? We 12 weeks strong. I'm feeling good about that. I'm happy about that. So if you're here at 6 a.m., make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know you're here. 6 a.m. crew, we are in the building. Yes, it is a great Monday to get some work done before we go to work. We got a good show today, y'all. We have a good show today. We got why fast food gotten so expensive, hitting folks' pockets. Students at Morehouse saying they don't want Trump. And how the U.S. is destroying young people's futures. Like, me. So, yeah, it is a good show today. We just going to see how this go. If you would, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We gonna get straight into this thing, cause we ain't gonna wait too long. We'll get straight into our topics and go from there. First topic: why fast food has gotten so expensive. And I know, we know, McDonald's is not no dollar no more. You can't get nothing at McDonald's for no dollar no more. So that does not exist. And I know pretty much everywhere else that dollar menu does not exist. It's non-existent. I don't even think they got a $5 foot long at Subway no more. So prices definitely have went up. And we just gonna have to work with it. But here we go. Let's get right into it. Why fast food has gotten so expensive.
Big and tasty. For just $1, you did your thing, dog.
Remember the dollar menu? Well, you may be hard-pressed to find any fast food item that actually costs $1 anymore.
$17 for 3 Filet-O-Fishes at McDonald's? Are you kidding me?
I don't have the money to buy fast food anymore.
Wouldn't you just miss the days when fast food was actually cheap?
When looking at fast food menus nationally, here are the average prices for fries from McDonald's, a Happy Meal, and a burger combo from Burger King. But I paid even more than that. Here are the prices at fast food locations by the NBC offices in Midtown Manhattan.
Broadly speaking, sales are performing much stronger than foot traffic, and that's due in part to higher prices.
The Consumer Price Index measures inflation, or the average increase in prices over time. Fast food falls into the limited service meals category. Think anything that's typically ordered at a counter and taken to go. From 2019 to 2023, prices in this category are up nearly 28%. That's more than full-service meals. Think sit-down restaurants with servers, which increased nearly 24%. And it's also more than overall inflation, which increased 19%. So why are fast food prices so high, and where will they go from here?
Like I said, fast food prices, there is no dollar menu no more. I remember fries used to be, from McDonald's, they weren't that expensive. But now you got places where they $4 for a medium fry. Dang. For that medium fry for fast food, it's still fast food, but it ain't no, affordable food. You are definitely, it seems, better off cooking these days, especially for some fries. You can get a whole big bag for that price. Fast food is fast at a price these days, because that is ridiculous. And what that lady said, I paid $17 for 3 Filet-O-Fish. She mad about the Filet-O-Fish. I mean, that fish patty, what? That's at least $5 something for each of them. So, hey, that is, for that little fish patty, some cheese, and some tartar sauce from McDonald's, I'd be kind of upset too. Didn't pay $17 for all that. and it ain't that much. Like I said, it's over inflation. The amount that it costs, it is cheaper. I feel like just to go to Walmart, get that dollar bag. I think it's $1 bag of fries, and you can feed way more than just a medium fry definitely from McDonald's. I can't do Burger King though, y'all know. I ain't had Burger King in a long time, so I don't know about Burger King. It ain't one of my to go to fast food spots no more. So McDonald's still on the list, just because, you know, if I travel, it's known, so it's somewhere I can definitely eat. But I've seen them prices go up. I like the McChickens, y'all. You know, I like the McChickens. They ain't no dollar no more neither. So I'd be mad about that. Like, dang, $2 for a McChicken. These prices is tripping. Be looking at the food I got. 2 McChickens and a fry. I don't even get to drink, y'all, 'cause, you know, I don't be doing all that. 2 McChickens and a fry. I done paid over $10 for this. I say this look like a $5 meal, but it done cost me $10. I be like, dang, this price is looking crazy.
Can I please get a Titan turkey? Can I get a foot long? Yeah, just that. Between 2022 and 2023, the cost of food, beverage, and packaging rose around 11% for both McDonald's and Chipotle. Still, as of late, labor is the main culprit.
Food is about a third of the cost of a menu item. So even as those costs moderate, in many cases, and particularly given the laws that we're seeing in California and some of the other, minimum wage laws and just increases that are happening, is that wage pressure remains elevated.
The fast food labor market became increasingly competitive for employers during the pandemic as companies struggled to fill their restaurants. In 2022, the number of employees in the limited service restaurant category were still below 2019 levels. During that same time, the number of limited service establishments grew by over 4%.
As things normalized after COVID, you still see a higher amount of job openings and less people coming in to fill those jobs.
Compared to 2019, the percentage of sales that goes towards paying for labor has grown for many limited service restaurants like Wendy's and Shake Shack, where it has actually decreased for restaurants like the Cheesecake Factory and Darden Restaurants, which owns chains like Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, and the Capitol Grill.
In order to maintain the same service levels and expand their operating hours to accommodate the consumers' late night snack demands and demands for earlier breakfast, fast food restaurants need to hire more labor across the day part. And so as they're competing with other potential employers, they need to make the job more enticing. And the easiest way to do that is by raising the wage rate.
And companies are passing these costs on to the customer, especially as states like California have raised the minimum wage for workers.
And obviously, despite this huge wage inflation, there's a lot of other factors at play. I think when you look at inflation within limited service, first of all, you're starting with a lower check average. And so any increase of $1 or $2 that an operator passes on just by definition has a higher percentage increase on it.
From December 2023 to February 2024, the national average for a quick service restaurant check was about $18, which is 4.5% more than the same time period last year. That's a higher percentage increase than both casual and fine dining. And full-service restaurants are capitalizing on the decreasing price gap.
How is this Chili's 3 for me only $10.99 when fast food is so expensive?
Could be because we don't have to pay for any mascots.
Please! I was born for this!
It has created a shift in fast food consumer behavior.
Perhaps before they were going there 10 times, but now they're still only spending $100 and maybe they're going there 8 times or 7 times, right? And so you start to see this traffic fall off because they're still spending essentially the same amount, but they're now going less frequently.
Okay, so that makes sense. I can't hate on that. It's labor costs have gone up. Let's be real. Fast food work, it's not very attractive. So how do you attract people? Well, we got to pay them a little bit more. You got to pay them a little bit more. That just is what it is. We can't be upset about that. and it's definitely being passed down to us. I know in California, they switching that thing to 20 an hour. It's definitely gonna be passed down. They're not taking that to the dome. They said we're gonna pass that right on down to the consumer, so you can definitely expect them prices to be up. I remember I stayed in California for like a year. I would say probably 2 years ago. I was there for a whole year. Their fast food prices were up then. And it definitely is because they're passing it down to labor. So while the food might have increased a little bit, labor definitely increased it. I know for fast food workers right now, if they're getting $20 in California, that fast food is not fast food no more. Well, it's fast, but it's not affordable. Fast food is not affordable anymore. And like they say, Chili's might be your go-to now. You know, it's cheaper than going to McDonald's. You look at the menu, especially, you know, what you gonna get. You may have a little bit to take home. And if you had little kids, you know, that's definitely the kids' menu gonna be cheaper. I don't see how, you know, just passing it down. That stuff right there is crazy expensive. But I'm not upset that people are getting paid more for doing this job. Especially the way, you know, things are going. A lot of it is going to be replaced anyway. And these restaurants will be ran by 3 people at most in the future. Because AI is going to take over. So, you know, it's like you pay the people more. Definitely. Productivity can go up, pay the people more. So I'm not upset about that.
Although prices for fast food have soared, sales have remained strong. McDonald's, Wendy's, and Yum Brands, which owns KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell, have all seen revenues surge past pre-pandemic levels.
A lot of the sales are still going up. And a lot of that's, you know, driven by price as opposed to frequency or visits.
A lot of investors are now focused on who is best positioned to drive growth based on volume, because you can obviously only push your price higher for so long.
And that for so long may have arrived. McDonald's missed earnings estimates in the first quarter of 2024, and an Evercore analyst called it one of the most sobering quarters for the fast food giant. Others like KFC and Pizza Hut are experiencing the same consumer pullback.
We must be laser focused on affordability, which means good entry-level price points available every day. In the markets where we're doing this well, the business is outperforming. In some markets, however, it's clear we still have opportunities to strengthen our proposition.
100K plus income household are really powering through and still spending at kind of normalized levels. Where we see a lot of the constraint or perhaps behavioral changes is the 50K and below consumer. And so your lower end consumer who just doesn't have enough spending power to keep doing everything that they were doing when the economy had a lot of additional COVID stimulus available.
Remember the $5 footlong at Subway? Well,
yep, I'm telling y'all right now, people under 50K, they going right back to that thing my mama used to tell me. Mama, I want McDonald's. We passing McDonald's. You got that McDonald's money? Do you got that McDonald's money? That's what they going back to. Hey, it used to happen to me. Y'all better implement it back. I don't think, fast food just ever been the most affordable thing unless you was going off strictly the dollar menu. Like you was going strictly on the dollar menu if it was affordable. So now that that's leaving, it's like it's definitely not affordable for nobody. Like they said, somebody in the 100K range, they're holding on. It's holding on because, you can't be too upset with prices going up at a time like this. All prices are going up. And especially since it's shown that these prices are going to labor, somebody has to work this. Somebody has to do the job. Especially if you want your big chicken. You want your $5 foot. You want your Subway, You want your Chipotle. Because Chipotle prices done went up too. And I don't think Chipotle is being too affected, you know. But seeing that McDonald's earning prices went down for the first time in forever, that's because they have nothing affordable on that menu now. I don't think nothing at McDonald's is just straight up affordable. I don't see nothing for anything low on their menu right now. At least that I want. Everything on there is definitely expensive. I remember looking at it, I said, dang, this junk done went up. You know, it's some spaced out time while I'm going to McDonald's. 'Cause McDonald's ain't just the healthiest of foods. So it got to be like a real night where I'm just like, hey, I'm hungry. McDonald's the only thing open. And those people got to get paid for being there. So I can't be too upset that it cost me a little money to get what I wanted.
That's a thing of the past. This turkey sub cost me over $11. The bad news about inflation is prices are...
Hold on. Is that a $5 foot long? That doubled in price? Oh yeah, Subway, they dropped that jingle all the way. $5 foot long. I remember I used to like that commercial. We going to Subway. $5 foot long. I'm eating on that for 2 days. That's a $10 foot long now. Hey, $10. It don't even ring no more, y'all. Because it ain't got that foot in it. You got a $10 foot long now, though.
aren't going to go down. The good news is the increases are slowing.
Prices in general across the economy very rarely ever come down once they've been reset higher. One of the reasons for that is wages, once they're reset higher, very rarely get pushed back down and reset lower.
To combat the decrease in value offered by fast food, chains are relying on apps and loyalty programs. In its 2023 fourth quarter earnings call, Wendy's says that it plans to invest approximately $15 million, primarily in 2024, to further enhance its mobile app experience. McDonald's announced its goal to expand its loyalty program from 150 million to 250 million 90-day active users by 2027.
They haven't been able to do before is have targeted advertisements that go directly to consumers based on their consumption preferences. And the companies will be able to see almost in real time the return on investment of those advertisements and those promotions that they push to the consumer, because they can tell, I pushed them the promotion on Tuesday and they made a purchase on Wednesday or on Thursday.
The value offered by fast food is something that customers will continue to evaluate each time they make a purchase, and it may ultimately determine how the industry reacts going forward.
Restaurants still take dollars to the bank, not consumer visits. And as long as they're able to continue to drive growth from a value or from a dollar perspective, I think, that's still good news for the industry.
Who comes in again? It's 427. Oh yeah, they not lying about that. Have y'all seen the fast food apps? That's where you get all your savings at now. That's what they trying to do. They gonna push you to that app. They gonna get paid from that too, y'all. They get paid from that, But they want to see value in that app. Have y'all seen the app? Y'all, in the app, if you like McDonald's, on Fridays they give free medium fry. They call it Free Fry Friday. I'm telling you, that's where you get all your saves at, is in the app. I have an app for about every fast food place I go. Chick-fil-A for sure. Chipotle. Oh yeah, just know. I see that was a ride. Chipotle, yeah, and Chick-fil-A. I got them apps no matter what. And like I said, if it's a rare weekend, that McDonald's app being open for that Free Fry Friday. Y'all better get on them apps and tap into them deals. Them things is no joke. What's up in the chat, man? What's up in the chat? Yeah, them apps is no joke. So you better go and download you an app. And then when they push you that thing, they go get it. Because fast food is definitely expensive right now. Man, if you with me, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you are in the building, go ahead and leave a comment. We're going to move right on into the next topic. The next topic, students going off at Morehouse because Biden is coming to their commencement speech. They mad. What has I just ask y'all a question. What do y'all think every college campus has a problem with right now? What are they protesting about right now? The war in Gaza. That's what they protesting about. And some Morehouse students are pissed. They are beyond mad that Biden is coming to their school. So let's go ahead and let's check this out.
Morehouse in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the most prestigious colleges, especially as it relates to the development of black male scholars. Well, the president of the institution is grilled by the students because he signed off on having President Joe Biden be the commencement speaker in the midst of the policy Biden supports, the policy of killing innocent individuals in Gaza. Here it is.
Right now, I'm being told that we need to use our platform as Morehouse men. Why are we using it to support someone who hasn't been supporting Palestine and Gaza and things like that? How are we being global cosmopolitan citizens? What precedent does that set for freshmen?
There's a possibility of a genocide happening. And we're seeing our government continually sending more and more weapons, 2,000-pound bombs that are being dropped on whole neighborhoods, schools being destroyed, hospitals being destroyed.
You condemn what's happening, man. Children is dying. Innocent people being blown up. And you can see the videos and you can't deny the videos. And we don't condemn that. You say, well, the world might not see it as, oh, we complicit. You know, we see it as complicit. We the students telling you, we see it as that's being complicit. Do y'all see that as complicit?
Yes, sir.
Yes. That's complicit. That's complicit in genocide. Do you think it's a genocide or not? Let me just ask a question everybody wants to hear. Do you think it's a genocide or do you not think it's a genocide what's happening in Gaza? Simple yes or no. That's all I want. Yes or no. Is it a genocide or not? Of your personal, professional opinion, as an educator, as a man in this country, what do you think? Are the people of Gaza being genocided or are they not?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Put them up for a match.
Yep, as y'all see, they are pissed about the war in Gaza. They are not happy about that. College students around the United States, though, they've been protesting like no other. I see it everywhere. Even on my campus at Georgia Southern University, I just got one of my line brothers sent me a news article that they were protesting down there. So it's happening everywhere. College students are definitely mad about this, and they are speaking up. They speaking up. I mean, they had a right to speak up. People had a right to protest. So if that's how they feel, that's how they feel. But because of that, a few Morehouse men are, they're against Joe Biden coming and speaking at all. They're against it at all. Of course, I don't think that represents the whole school. The whole school might not feel that way, but a group of students do feel that way. So my question is, just because a group of students are offended, does that mean that you don't have the president come speak at your school? Because it risks a group being offended. And this comes down to it, something like this happens all the time. We don't want this because we feel offended. But as a mass, it's like, we might not care. So now it's like, who do you cater to? I think there's a way around this. I think there's a way that he could really get the views of the students. We are in democracy, after all. There's a way that he can see if they really want Joe Biden, to be there. That's what I tell them. Y'all got all this stuff to say? Because obviously he doesn't want to share his opinion on it. He doesn't want to share his opinion because when they asked him directly, I have no words. I have no words. This is how y'all feel, this This is what y'all are doing. So there's a way for them to see. But let's continue seeing what they got to say.
Pass. I was just on the campus of Morehouse a few months ago lecturing to students. I may not be invited back after this reporting. I'm okay with that. I stand with the students of Morehouse. I stand with the students who care about people. Morehouse President David A. Thomas. He's a good brother, actually. I'm not sure why he's making this decision. According to Atlanta Capital B News, Morehouse College students packed the campus auditorium Tuesday evening to voice their anger to Morehouse College President David A. Thomas at the decision to invite President Joe Biden to deliver the historically Black institutions commencement address next month. Most of the estimated 50 students in attendance at Tuesday's meeting expressed outrage and frustration at Biden's support for Israel in its war against Hamas. The conflict has killed more than 34,000 Palestinian civilians since October. I want to remind you that 70% are women and children, okay? Always remember, they are not at war with Palestinians, at least not so allegedly. Students who spoke Tuesday expressed horror at the images of dead Palestinian women and children, and that they've seen on social media. Only one student in attendance defended Biden's scheduled appearance. So I'm worried that giving Biden a platform at Martin Luther King Jr.'s alma mater could damage the school's reputation. I want you to think about.
All right, so it was 50 students out of the whole school. 50 students showed up, and only one backed Biden. I'm sure those 50 students are the people who showed up were the people who did not want Biden to be there. So either the rest of the school doesn't care, or those 50 students really cared and they like, hey, we don't want him here. So should those 50 students represent the whole school? Because they talk about the auditorium was flooded out. I know more than 50 students go to Morehouse now. Or was it just the leadership of the school? Like, president of the SGA, stuff like that. So, I think we need a little bit more. Yeah, it needs to be judged a little bit more. Because this is very one-sided to represent the whole school. Now, if it was more than 50 students, I could start understanding. But with 50 students, I'm sure the people who showed up are the people who felt very heavy against Biden coming to speak to this school. And like they said, it's because the war in Palestine, they're not happy about it. They're not happy about it.
About the numbers here, okay? Out of every student that was there, there's only one student that gave some level of support for Biden being on campus. This is not a day for Biden. Mr. President, put up the president again. To the president of Morehouse, brother, you know I love you, brother. And I love you enough to tell you the truth. The vast majority of your students, they have something that I think some people lost along the way. They still have heart. They are not making political considerations. They are not measuring their words. These are good young men, and they are our future leaders. Graduation, as you are well aware, Mr. President, is for the students. It memorializes an accomplishment of 4 or 5, hell, some of them been there 6 years to get this undergraduate degree. Biden, as you know, they contacted you. They contacted Morehouse because he needs some push in the Black community.
And here we go.
In other words, the administration needs a pawn.
Here you go. That's the part.
They need someone that'll play the game. Where's the policy? Where's the check?
There we go.
Thomas made it clear during the emergency town hall meeting
That's what it is
that
right there.
he won't rescind his invitation to Biden despite backlash from students and faculty over the preceding 24 hours. At HBCUs, no classes have been canceled, and there's no indication that Thomas's job is in jeopardy at Morehouse still. The angle of Biden's visit reflects a political challenge to a president whose re-election, hopes might ride on black voters. It rode on black voters for him to get in. Many of whom disagree with his policies on the war.
That's where it's going to. That's what I'm looking at right there. That's the part that I'm looking into. Is this a ploy to get black voters? That's the question I want to know. Is this a ploy to get black voters? Especially like he said, a lot of them are disagreeing with their policies on the war. So is this a ploy to get black voters on your side? President Biden. And we gonna hope that it's a good speech. We gonna hope that it's a good speech too. Because I feel like, dang, but I want to see Biden. Yes, he's a president. I wouldn't mind seeing him. But is he gonna make it through this speech? And is it gonna have anything that I can take with it? Because I'm the one graduating. I'm the one graduating. Can I take anything from this speech? Is this a political ploy? Is this the same thing that Trump did at the Chick-fil-A? I just seen yesterday Trump and Biden, they both showing up to convenience stores at this point. They just showing up anywhere trying to get some votes from, oh yeah, I'm at the convenience store. I went to the Chick-fil-A. Well, I went to Morehouse College. Now what? This is what it could be. Because we all know that Trump at Chick-fil-A was planned out perfectly to the T. Nobody was at that Chick-fil-A randomly like, oh my God, I'm just randomly here. We black, we randomly at the Chick-fil-A. And Trump done walked in here. We love Trump. That is not what happened. That was planned out. All right, we're going to this Chick-fil-A. These, the black people who support you, Trump, we gonna be there. You gonna walk in, let me get 30 milkshakes, and we gonna pass them out to the random people that just happen to be here. Is how it kind of tried to look, but it wasn't like that. You can tell if you watch that video, it didn't randomly show up to no Chick-fil-A in Atlanta talking about let me give away milkshakes to people. So that's how this feels like. It's a political, like he's using them to get the black vote. And that's what they need to go off of. Is because it's not like we invited Biden to come. Biden said, it's that time again. I need to go somewhere where I can get the black vote back. And what's better than Morehouse College? They love this college as a HBCU. Everybody know Morehouse. I'm going to go speak to their graduates. And now some of their graduates like, no, we don't want you here. We do not want you here. At the end of this, I'm going to tell y'all how I feel about them, that voting situation, about him showing up. Because I'm telling you, we are in a democracy. It's a way to decide for sure. If he going to be there. Especially if the students are speaking out. The students are speaking out. That's who it's for. It's for the students.
One young man questioned whether Thomas would benefit financially from Biden's visit. Quote, I want to know if you've been paid to provide Biden a platform to address the student body. The student said, I have not been paid. I have not been bought, Thomas answered. The question is an insult, but because you are a student here, I owe you the opportunity to do it, but I'm going to call it out, end quote. At least two students who spoke Tuesday worried that Biden could use Morehouse as a campaign backdrop to help him win over black voters in a battleground state. One called the speech an easy photo op.
There you go.
For the president, comparing it to an appearance by former President Donald Trump at a nearby Chick-fil-A 2 weeks prior.
Yep, there you go.
But Thomas defended the stance, suggesting that a presidential visit underscores the school's stature as an elite institution rather than undermining it. Quote, We have a platform at Morehouse that the world pays attention to. And we call people to that platform who are important people in the world, he said. The President of the United States is one of those people.
I can agree with the president on that point. I could agree with him on that point. You know, if you are a prestigious institution, you want somebody like the president to come. That's something that you would want. So now it's more of a, you know, okay, we have a political agenda going on here, or a statue. What's in the best interest of the school versus what is in the best interest of the students. For the school, this is good, but the students don't want this. So that's the as the president of the school, I would ask him, who are you working for? Are you here for the school's name and being? Or are you here for the students? Because that's definitely a question that has to be asked. Because I wouldn't, if we're coming from, you know, from the point of the school, we are a prestigious, elite institution, and the president wants to come here, backing up the school, yes, come. That would be great for the school. Yes. Now, like I said, you have the other side. The students. Is this good for the students, though? Especially if the students don't want you there.
Mr. President, I have a question for you, sir. Would you say the same thing if it was Trump that was president?
I mean, I hope.
Let's have intellectual integrity about it. Would you say the same thing if Trump were president? Once again, dear brother, you know I love you. Multiple AUC students, and I must disclose, I am a professor at the AUC. Multiple AUC students told Capital B Atlanta they intend to protest during Biden's planned visit, including Morehouse Junior Daxton Pettis and Spelman freshman Hatim Mondali. Both Pettis and Spelman are activist members of the Student Intercommunal Coordinating Committee, SIC, who participated in Tuesday night. There was a candlelight vigil at Spelman in support of oppressed people in Sudan, Congo, Haiti, Gaza. Mondali said if the election were held today, she would simply choose a third-party candidate over Biden. You know, many people would probably...
And Trump. Biden and Trump. Now, we can't leave that out. Third-party president over Biden. Biden and Trump was what was said, okay? That's how a lot of people feel. But let's be real. That third party is almost like not voting at all. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel right now. We are in a two-party system. That third party, it hasn't got up to a level where it's even really competing. Let's just say, you know, it brings light on certain issues. That's what it does. It'll bring light, shine a light on certain issues. But in the overall scale of things, I don't think it's just the way to go. But like, they're going to be out there protesting if Biden's out here. They are going to be protesting. Students have been protesting like all get out. So, hey, it just is what it is. That's how they feel on the situation.
I would choose the third party of just staying at home.
Yep, third party is staying at home.
I'm encouraged by the leadership of these students. You're doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing. I'm happy that you are my future leader, that you are our future leaders, all right? Stick to your guns. You're on the right side of right. History will judge you very well for it. Sharing thoughts here.
To both presidents, I'm appalled here. And to these great young leaders at Morehouse, these Morehouse men, keep going. Take over the Democratic Party, and then we won't have to worry.
Why they gotta take over the Democratic Party? They can't take over. They can take over the Republican Party too. They can take over the Republican Party. They don't only have to take over the Democratic Party. Come on now. They don't only have to take over the Democratic Party. I don't know why she said take over the Democratic Party. Take over the Republican Party, maybe. X. It doesn't matter. I think, we need to be, anyway, we need to have a black caucus or something. Where, who gonna give the black people the best? Who gonna give it to us? Us, Americans of the black diaspora, of the African diaspora, stand together. Who gonna give us the best? But nah, the easy way to handle this right now, you have to back the students. You have to back the students. If the students who are graduating do not want Biden there, Biden should not come. Put it up to a vote. Do y'all want Biden here? And if most of the students say no, he's not coming. Most of the students say yes, he's coming. Forget about how elite or, the institution is. Forget all that. This is about the students. This is not about the school in this moment. This moment is not about the school. This moment is about the students. So put it up to vote. Put it up to vote. That's all I can say. Me as a student, if I didn't want them there, oh well. They gonna do something drastic. You better not. They will do something drastic. They will do something drastic. I'm telling you. They will do it. As college students, they don't care. They will, to send a message, they will do it. Hey, more power to them. More power to them. If you're still here with me, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment as we move into our last topic of the day. How the U.S. is destroying young people's future. I've watched a little bit of this, and I can agree with a lot of it. The guy is Scott Galloway, and I've seen him on CNN doing some of the same. He talking about the same stuff, but on this he more is presented better to me. On CNN he was just talking about it, and on this it's a TED Talk, so it's presented in a very good way. So I hope we can all get a lot out of this, because I know I did. So you should be able to get a lot out of this on how the U.S. is really destroying young people's future right now. It's because I'm gonna let him explain it. I'm going to let him explain it. Let's get straight into this thing.
I start us with a question. Do we love our children? Sounds like an illegitimate question, right? Well, I'm going to try and convince you otherwise. Essentially, as we go down generations, we're seeing that for the last 2 generations, people are making less money on an inflation-adjusted basis. In addition, the cost of buying a home, the cost of pursuing education continues to skyrocket. So the purchasing power, the prosperity, is inversely correlated to age. Simply put, as we get younger, we're taking away opportunity and prosperity from our youngest. The social contract that is now no longer in place, and for the first time in the U.S.'s history, a 30-year-old is no longer doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. This is a breakdown in the fundamental agreement we have with any society, and it creates rage and shame. As a result, people over the age of 55 feel pretty good about America, but less than 1 in 5 people under the age of 34 feel very good about America. This creates an incendiary. Righteous movements, cuts to our society end up becoming opportunistic infections because, generally speaking, young people have a warranted envy, they're pissed off, and they're angry that they don't enjoy the same spoils and prosperity that were provided to our generation. A decent proxy for how much we value youth labor is minimum wage, and we've kept it purposely pretty low. If it had just kept pace with productivity, it'd be about $23 a share, but we've decided to purposely keep it low. Out of reach, median home price has skyrocketed relative to median household income. As a result, pre-pandemic, the average mortgage payment was $1,100. It's now $2,300 because of an acceleration in interest rates and the fact that the average home has gone from $290,000 to $420,000. By the way, the most expensive homes in the world, based on this metric, are number 3, Vancouver. Why? Because 60% of the cost of building a home goes to permits. Because guess what? The incumbents that own assets have weaponized government to make it very difficult for new entrants to ever get their own assets, thereby elevating their own net worth. This is the transfer I'm going to be speaking about. This has resulted in an enormous transfer of wealth, where people over the age of 70 used to control 19% of household income versus people under the age of 40 used to control 12. Their wealth has been cut in half. This isn't by accident, it's purposeful. This is me at UCLA in 1987. I know your first thought is I haven't changed a bit. This is also Mia Silverio, who is the analyst that put together these slides. By the way, Mia is 26. I did the math. Just by virtue of her being in this audience, it brings the average age of the entire conference down 11 days. When I applied to UCLA, the admissions rate was 76%. Today, it's 9%. I received a 2.23 GPA from UCLA. I learned nothing but how to make bombs out of household items in every line from Planet of the Apes. And the greatest public school in the world, Berkeley, decided to let me in with a 2.27 GPA. And that's what higher ed is about. Higher ed is about taking unremarkable kids and giving them a shot at being remarkable. And every year, it's gotten more expensive. Higher ed and homes, and the ability, not only is higher ed incredibly expensive, it's not accessible, because me and my colleagues are drunk on luxury, and I'll come back to that. We've embraced the ultimate strategy. Me and my colleagues in higher ed wake up every morning and ask ourselves the same question when we look in the mirror. How can I increase my compensation while reducing my accountability? And we have found the ultimate strategy. It's called an LVMH strategy, where we artificially constrain supply to create aspiration and scarcity such that we can raise tuition faster than inflation. And old people and wealthy people have done the same thing with housing. All of a sudden, once you own a home, you become very concerned with traffic, and you make sure that there's no new housing permits. And here is a memo to my colleagues in higher ed. We're public servants, not fucking Chanel bags. Harvard is the best example of this. They've increased their endowment in the last 40 years and have decided to expand their enrollment, their freshman class, by 4%. Any university...
Okay, let's pause real quick. So far, we've had wages have not kept up. Our wages is set back into what? The 1960s? $9.50 when it should be $20. That's just a start. Housing. College costs more. College costs way more, which is crazy to me. So we've already had, what, 2 or 3 things hit from the beginning. College costs more, but enrollment has went down. It's went up a little bit. Price for enrollment. So they're creating this false sense of want, saying that the supply is down. A false sense of supply being gone so that the prices all go up. And young people aren't seeing this at all. We have more debt than everyone's ever had to attend college. We have less opportunity coming out of college to get jobs after that because of the amount of experience, so-called, that you need. So it's just a lot of things that young people are taking a hit for. Yeah, like I said, it's crazy. And this is why students feel how they do. This is why young people are so outraged. This is why you see a lot of the movements. It's all young people. Like you said, the Black People Matters, the war in Palestine. So many college students. That's what you see right now, is that war in Palestine. Students are protesting all over America for that one specific reason right now. I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere, and it never fails. Like I said, even at my college, Georgia Southern University, I'm seeing newsletters on that. So this is what is being pushed by. We don't see opportunity in America right now. So we have the right to be enraged. Young people have the right to be enraged. They just don't see their opportunity. They don't see the American dream. Houses is more. Groceries is more. Living costs more these days. And the future is like, okay, where is it?
That doesn't grow their freshman class faster than population, that has over $1 billion in endowment, should lose their tax-free status because they're no longer in higher education. They're a hedge fund offering classes.
Yeah.
My first recommendation, Biden should take some of that $750 billion earmarked to bail out the 1/3 of people that got to go to college on the backs of the 2/3 that didn't, and give $1 billion to our 500 greatest public institutions, size adjusted, in exchange for three things. One, they use technology and scale to reduce tuition by 2% a year, expand enrollments by 6% a year, and increase the number of vocational certifications and non-traditional four-year degrees by 20%. Where does that...
You know what? I like that. Instead of focusing on everyone on the other side, let's help them out in the beginning. I think that is a great thing. Cause I've been complaining about that student loan stuff forever, but I'm on the backside. Mine is gonna be paid off. It is what it is. But the real problem stems from the beginning, having to take on that debt at such large amount in the first place, especially to get higher education, which should be something that, every American wants a higher education. I think that is a beautiful thing. Reduce tuition, expand enrollments, and I also they gotta do something about certain degrees. You gotta do something about certain degrees. You can't be letting these colleges pimp people out like this. You can't be letting the colleges pimp people out like that. I like this though. I like this. Help people out in the beginning. That way they're not struggling on the backside. That's a beautiful thing.
By 6% a year, and increase the number of vocational certifications and non-traditional four-year degrees by 20%. Where does that get us? In just 10 years, that doubles the freshman seats and cuts the cost in half. This isn't radical. This is called college in the 80s and 90s. Another transfer of wealth.
That's crazy.
Look at what's happened to wages. Oh, they've gone up, not as much as corporate profits. There's a healthy tension between capital and labor. For the last 40 years, capital has been kicking the shit out of labor. Well, you think, whoa, what about wages, right? They've gone up. Well, if you compare them to the S&P, they barely register. It's been an amazing time to own assets, but your attempt to get the certification or the income such that you can acquire assets has gotten harder and harder. In my class of 300 kids, it's never been easier to be a billionaire. It's never been harder to be a millionaire. By the way, our job in higher ed isn't to identify a top 1% of people who are freakishly remarkable or have rich parents and turn them into a superclass of billionaires. It's to give the bottom 90 a chance to be in the top 10. You know who doesn't need me or higher education? The top 10%. The whole point of higher ed is to give the unremarkables, i.e. yours truly, who was raised by a single immigrant mother, a shot of being remarkable. The transfer has been purposeful. While the cohorts, corporations, and the ultra-wealthy continue to garner more and more of our wealth, we have decided, if they win the gold, let's give them the silver and the bronze, and let's lower their taxes. This transfer is purposeful. It's not by accident. And it works. Senior poverty is way down, and we should celebrate that. Meanwhile, child poverty is flat to up. The third rail, I'm going to talk about Social Security. It would cost $11 billion to expand the child tax credit, but that gets stripped out of the infrastructure bill. But the additional $135 billion a year to Social Security, that flies right through Congress. And every year we transfer $1.4 trillion from a cohort that is increasingly doing less well to the cohort that is the wealthiest cohort in the history of this planet. I'm not against Social Security, but the criteria should be if you need it, not whether you have a catheter.
Just get it. Yep.
80% of you have absolutely no reason to ever take Social Security. It is bankrupting our nation, and we have fallen under this mythology that somehow it's this great social program. No, it's not. It's the great transfer of wealth from young to old.
That's what it is. He's speaking right there. He is speaking right there. It is no reason. Like I said, the old people, they getting paid off taxes. They get paid. The child care, they get scraped. Social Security expanded. But we know why, though. That's the boomers. The largest group to vote ever. The largest group. So they come with it. Hey, we voting for our pockets. That's what they vote for. They vote for their pockets. We voting for our pockets. And of course, when they were young, they were voting for young people things. Now they're old, they're voting for Social Security. They're voting with their pockets. And some of them might not even need it. They still want their check. Still want their Social Security check. It all comes down to that voting. They're trying to keep their money. At that old age, trying to keep that money. They really should just be giving it out. I think it's that is definitely crazy.
How is this happening? Because our representatives are in fact representative. Old people vote.
Like I said,
Washington has become a cross between the land of the dead and the Golden Girls.
God, look at this. Dang. Average age up there is definitely 80. Average age up there is 80. That and it represents the vote. It represents. I said, if the boomers are all that age, they are voting for people who are giving them what they want. So it's definitely representative. We need some young faces. Come on now.
Quite frankly, this is fucking ridiculous. And if I sound ageist, I am. And you know who else is ageist? Biology. When Speaker Pelosi had her first child, get this, 2/3 of households didn't have color televisions, and Castro had just declared martial law. But she's supposed to understand the challenges of a 17-year-old girl who's 5'9", 95 pounds, getting tips on dieting and extreme dieting from Facebook. She's supposed to understand the challenges that a 27-year-old single mother face.
Sure can't.
By the way, young and dreamy. Young and dreamy. The great intergenerational theft took place under the auspices of a virus. I know. Let's use the greatest health crisis in the century to really speedball the transfer. This is the NASDAQ from 2008 to 2012. We let the markets crash. And by the way, you need churn, you need disruption because it seeds and recalibrates advantage and wealth from the incumbents to the entrants. It's a natural part of the cycle. But wait, lately, no, 1 million people dying would be bad. But what would be tragic is if we let the NASDAQ go down and guys like me lost wealth. So we pumped the economy, which again increased the massive transfer of wealth. The best 2 years of my life, COVID, more time with my kids, more time with Netflix, and my value of my stocks absolutely exploded. And who has to pay for my prosperity? Not me. Future generations who will have to deal with an unprecedented level of debt.
Yep.
Why am I here and why do I get the prosperity I enjoy? Because in 2008, we bailed out the banks, but we didn't bail out the economy. We let the markets fall. So as I was coming into my prime income earning years, I got to buy, no joke, these stocks at these prices.
What?
This is where those stocks are now.
But
where does a young person find...
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. This is what I face with stocks. This is what I've been facing. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is exactly what it's like. I do $25 a week outside of the retirement and all that stuff, you know, outside of that for just like personal play or whatnot. At $25 a week, y'all, I was looking, it's gonna take me some time before I get a full stock in anything, you know, because I try to spread it across a couple. It's gonna be some time before I get a full stock in anything. I'm not in Netflix. Y'all see $607? Same thing. Nvidia's real high, and I've been trying to get into that, but at $5 a week, that ain't gonna help a lot. I need something I can really dump some funds into it. And if them prices was like that in 2010, them are on some come up. 14 years. That has. Think about if you got Apple stock at $7. You're getting Apple stock at $7. I mean, hey, even if you got it at $50 or somewhere, this is crazy. The only problem is with this is that these stocks weren't as big as they are now. Neither, not in 2010. Not in 2000. Now they're like full-fledged companies. They are doing the thing. But still, you able to get if over the board it was kind of like this, then I'm definitely hating. I'm hating. I am a hater, cause boy, them folks done came up. Your $7 done 25 times. Golly, that is crazy.
Find disruption. When you bail out the baby boomer owner of a restaurant, all you're doing is robbing opportunity from the 26-year-old graduate of a culinary academy that wants her shot. We need disruption. We're economically attacking the young, but I know, let's attack their emotional and mental well-being. Let's take advantage of the fact of the flaws in our species with medieval institutions, Paleolithic instincts, and godlike technology. I'm just going to say, I think Mark Zuckerberg has done more damage to young people in our nation while making more money than any person in history.
Is that a fact? I think social media definitely destroyed a lot of morals. Is one of them that done went out the door. Attention spans done went out the door. Community done went kind of wonky, because you can find community almost anywhere now. Yeah. Hey, in 2010, we should have definitely got on game. At 2010, got us some stocks in 2010. 12 years old with a stock, I'd be rich today. I wish I would have bought one. Hey, we was definitely lacking at 12 years old, lacking on them stocks. That is crazy. These old people, they getting that cake and eating it too, boy.
Oh, but wait, what could be worse? It's as if we let an adversary implant a neural jack into our youth to raise a generation of civic, military, and business leaders that hate America.
I'm telling you, TikTok.
How can we be this stupid? All right, this all adds up to a bunch of graphs all headed up and to the right. And what are they? What's the first one? Oh, that's self-harm rates, which have exploded, especially among girls, since my colleague Jonathan Haidt pointed out it's really gone crazy since social went on mobile. What's the next one? Teens with depression. The next one, men and women not having sex.
Boy.
Biggest fear of my parents was that I was going to get in too much trouble. My biggest fear, honestly, is that my kids aren't going to get into enough trouble. By the way, my advice to every young person watching this program is go out, drink more, and make a series of bad decisions that might pay off.
You're not lying.
Next graph, cumulative gun deaths. You're more likely to be shot in the United States if you're a toddler or an infant than a cop. Next graph, obesity, way up. By the way, the industrial food complex wants to addict you to shitty, fatty food so they can hand you over to the industrial diabetes complex. We should not romanticize obesity. You're not finding your fucking truth. You're finding diabetes. Overdose deaths, way up. Deaths of despair. When I was in high school, it was drunk driving. Now it's...
All right, let's talk about each and every one of these. Let's talk about them. Self-harm rates have gone up. And teen depression has gone up. That's definitely neck and neck with social media. People are comparing and contrasting everything. Internet bullying is a thing. And the biggest thing I think with girls, for sure, is to compare and contrast. She has this, she has that, she has this, she has this. I don't have this. Everybody's in the what they're lacking category, because that's what you see on social media, what you're lacking. You don't ever notice what you have because you're comparing it to other people. So you're lacking. You know, that just is what it is, especially with younger people. They are going through that stage. All they see is what they're lacking. They don't see what they have. Only what they're lacking, what they want, what they gain. They're comparing themselves at all times. So self-harm and teen depression with social media, because of what they are allowed to see these days, they're not just comparing to everyone in their hometown. They're comparing themselves to, the supermodel at their age. Now we're going no sex in the past from 18 to 30. Gosh, Lee. That's just because women see now that, hey, I'm not messing with you. You ain't got nothing I want. They comparing themselves. You know, you a small town girl. You see them city boys. So now them small town dudes, they ain't getting none no more. What's up, Fredo, in the building? What's up, Fredo? I see you in the building, man. Appreciate the support for sure. But men and women not having sex going up, hey, I feel bad. Gun deaths going up for young kids. That's just the laws and policy. Everyone can have a gun in the household now, and nobody's probably practicing, safety with it. Obesity done went up. Have y'all seen the workout programs back in the 80s? Did y'all see that workout program? They used to have to do pull-ups. Now kids barely have to be able to walk, and they gonna pass that. They gonna pass. We need to bring back the pull-up challenge. Bring back the pacer test. Bring back the push-up test. I'm telling you, folks used to dread that day when the workout performances used to come. People used to dread that. Yeah, you about to have to run back and forth on this basketball court. You gonna have to run back and forth. I remember I used to kill it, y'all. I used to kill it. You feel me? I was in shape as a kid, as a young boy. I was in shape. I used to kill that thing. These kids these days, I promise you, I don't think they could do it. A lot of them. And then overdosing. It's just drugs going rampant, y'all. It just, especially now, people not being satisfied with what's going on. They want to escape. They getting into drugs, and it's just not good. Yeah, they used to have to run a mile back in the day. Kids used to have to run a mile. Now I promise you, they probably make them do the 100-meter dash, and it take them kids all day to do that. That pacer, when it came down to it, when you had to do that pacer test and all that stuff, people used to dread that day. Nowadays, I'm sure they say, you ain't making my kid run. Them kids need to get on the track. Put them kids back on the track, man. All they focused on, these kids these days, is they make sure they fit to on their phones. They give them a tablet. Here, do this running simulation on your tablet. We gonna make sure you fit enough to do that. So yeah, obesity definitely done went through the roof. Overdose deaths though, that's definitely sad. That's definitely sad. And I feel like it can't be all the way the kids' fault. It's what they're exposed to. It's the exposure has definitely gone up. And they're just not the same, y'all. This is not the same.
Kids killing themselves. Young people don't want to have kids anymore. 2/3 of people aged 30 to 34 able-bodied used to decide to have at least one child. It's been cut in half. It's now less than 1/3.
I'll say this. We might not want kids no more, but everywhere I look, left and right, it's another kid being born. I know a lot of people, they don't want kids, but they be having them. Literally. We might not want kids, but they're still being had. That's one thing that is happening. But and when you look at the economy, who would want a kid right now? It's a lot that you have to sacrifice in order to have that kid, to support that kid. And a lot of people, they say it, I don't want to go through that. I just don't feel like going through that right now.
27%. As a result, people over the age of 60 in the US, pretty happy. People under the age of 30, not so much. Some of the lowest in the free world. What can we do? Nothing wrong with America that can't be fixed with what's right with it. We got the hard stuff figured out. There are programs to address all of these issues. They cost a lot of money. That's the hard part. And we have figured this out. In just 5 minutes post an earnings call, we can add $250 billion to the economy. We've got the hard part figured out, the resources. We have the money, but we decide not to do it. This is per capita spending on childcare in the United States relative to other nations. This is housing permits. Things are doable. We increase minimum wage to $25 an hour. It goes into the economy. The wonderful things about low and middle income households is they spend all their money. We have to restore a progressive tax structure with alternative minimum tax on corporations and wealthy individuals. We need to refund the IRS. We need to reform Social Security. It should be based on whether you need the money, not on how old you are. We need a negative income tax. My friend Andrew Yang screwed up a great idea, but he branded it incorrectly. Instead of calling it UBI, he should have got Republicans on board by calling it a negative income tax. We need to eliminate the capital gains tax deduction. When did we decide that the money that capital earns is more noble than the money that sweat earns? Shouldn't it be flipped? We need to remove 230 protection for all algorithmically elevated content. We need identity verification. The reason we can have identity verification is because we have a First Amendment. Break up big tech. We have monopolies that are incurring greater and greater costs on every small business and parents because, again, see above, our representatives don't understand these technologies. We need to age-gate social media. There's absolutely no reason anyone under the age of 16 should ever be on social media.
A lot of this stuff sounds like Europe.
We need universal pre-K. We need to reinstate the expanded child tax credit. We need term limits, see above Andrew Yang. We need income-based affirmative action. Any visible signs of affirmative action make no sense at all. You would rather be born gay or non-white in the United States today than poor, and that's a sign of our progress and our need to recalibrate who we give advantage to. Affirmative action, of which I'm a beneficiary of, I got Pell Grants, I got unfair advantage. Affirmative action is a wonderful thing, and it should be based on color. It should be based on green, how much money you have or don't have. Expand college enrollment and vocational programs, mental health, ban phones in schools, invest in third places, big brothers and sisters programs. We need national service. We need to tell people in the United States and Canada that they live in the greatest countries in the world, and we need to remind them of that every day by exposing them to other great Americans where they feel connected tissue. We can do all of this.
Let's look at the doables. This is a long list of doables. Economics, increase minimum wage, 25. Lord. AMT for high income and corporations. Refund IRS. Reform Social Security. Negative income tax. Eliminate capital gains. Y'all, I don't know what economics, y'all. A lot of times, that doesn't sound too much just like Europe. But one thing about Europe is they are taxed very high because they do more for the community than we do here in America. And that's one of their trade-offs. So they don't get paid as much because they have a lot more time at home. They have a lot more vacations. You know, they are literally all this stuff. I feel like the Europeans have kind of figured out a little bit of it. And I think we should, if we copy a little bit more of that in the economics part, we would be happier as a society, like the free health care and all those things. But at the same time, you will be taxed more. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand is you are taxed more when you get a lot of these other social things that come along with it. Technology, break up big techs, age gating, that, you can do that. Political policies, universal pre-K, that would help out. That would help out with people. That just sounds like expanding the education system that we already have, just to pre-K. You feel me? Reinstate, expand the child credit. Yeah, if you have children, you should get a little bit more help. Term limits. Old people should not be running the government. Let's be real. Income-based affirmative action. I feel like that's a thing. It turns it from race to class. Like I said, class is about everything anyway, already. So it just definitely changes it from race to class. Expand college enrollment and programs. That helps all the time. Ban phones in school, interest in third parties, big brother, big sister, national service requirement. All of this stuff would be good for the U.S. people, for especially young people. I think we all would benefit from this. We all could benefit from this. Maybe not older people as much. They're going to have to sacrifice. But if we are talking about the future of the United States, yes. Yes, this would help out a lot.
We can do all of it. We have the resources. The question is, do we have the will? This is my last slide.
Exactly.
It is an emotionally manipulative slide to try and get you to like me more. But it does have a message. This is the whole shooting match. Anybody here without kids, ask someone with kids. You have your world of work, you have your world of friends, you have your world of kids. Something happens here, your whole world shrinks to this. So I present, as I wrap here, which is a few questions. One, if you acknowledge that our kids are the most important thing in our lives, that everything else we do here is meaningful, but our kids' well-being and prosperity is profound. If you acknowledge that they're doing more poorly than previous generations.
It's crazy.
If you believe there's a chance that the illusion of complexity has done nothing but provide cloud cover for the unbelievable transfer of goodwill, of well-being, and of prosperity from young to old, and if you believe we can actually fix these problems and we have the resources, then I present to you, I posit, I augur the question that I hope has more veracity than it did 17 minutes and 24 seconds ago. And that's the following question. Do we love our children?
Well, that was he spoke a lot on that. He definitely spoke a lot on do we love our children? How the U.S. is destroying young people's futures. I think we definitely need to focus on the future and stop worrying about what happened in the past at this point. With student loans, they've been trying to fix those for years. Why don't we just make college more affordable for the people that come after us? I think it would cost less. We pay more for everything than our parents did. That's just what it is. We can't afford a home at all at this point. We are getting knocked out. And that is literally because older people, they want all the wealth. They want to keep all the wealth. The transfer will come soon. I'm on the part where I think we do need a crash. It needs to crash. And it will be more, once the crash does happen, younger people will be, if we're preparing ourselves correctly, at a better state to be able to afford the things that the older generations have had. But like I said, that won't happen unless older people start thinking about us and stop thinking about the money that is already in their pockets at this point. Well, y'all, that was a good show. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. We hit why fast food has gotten so expensive. Students at Morehouse not agreeing with Biden coming to speak at their graduation. And we ended it off how the U.S. is destroying young people's future. I just want to say thank y'all for popping in today. Thank you for tapping in. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment on your way out the door. Thank y'all for being here. Peace, love, and riches. I'm out.